Hello and welcome to the Fummins Build Part 6, where we are trying to build our version of the ultimate tow rig slash diesel truck. So what we've done so far is we bought this Ford F-350 four-wheel drive dually. We also bought a 2005 Dodge Ram 2500 sight unseen from auction, and we pulled this common rail Cummins out of it, got the rest of it stripped down and the parts we wanted off of it, pushed it off into the weeds. We then pulled the cab off the Ford here, pulled the old blown up 6.4 engine out of it, we have over here, pulled all our sensors and everything we needed off of that. We moved our transmission back, installed the Cummins in the chassis, put all our accessories on, dropped the body down, and made sure that everything fit good, everything lined up, everything cleared. We are all good there. So the next order of business is to dive into the Cummins itself. So again, we got this out of a running driving parts truck. The parts truck did have some issues. It didn't run quite right. Ran rough in general, definitely seemed like it was misfiring on a cylinder. While I had it running and driving, I drove it around, checked some stuff. I was checking rail pressure and stuff with my HP tuners. Rail pressure was good. So it could be an injector, it could be a down cylinder. Now the typical blow-by test, taking the oil cap off, passed with flying colors. Hard to do on the Dodge is upside down, but barely moved it at all, had virtually no blow-by coming out. So hopefully that's not the case. We did try to stick a bore scope down into each cylinder through the exhaust ports. But trying to snake it past the valve and get an angle at the piston didn't really work that well, couldn't really tell us much. We do plan to do a head gasket and head studs to this engine anyway while we've got it out. So what we're going to do now is start by pulling the head off and inspecting everything and seeing what we've got. You know, we're trying to build this truck right the first time, not have to mess with it. We are going to be doing it in stages where we're going to have, you know, a more basic setup and then we do compound turbos later and whatever. We want to make sure everything's right before the engine goes in for the final time. So that's where we're at. Let's get started. So first order of business after we get the chain off will obviously be to pull the valve cover off. So I need to make sure to keep these organized. I'm gonna go get a roll of paper towels. All right, we've got all the rocker arms, push rods, pedestals, little bridges for the valves all taken off. With the injector wires undone, the injector's unbolted, what we need to do now is pull these lines. I'll probably go ahead and pull this whole plate assembly off, and then we'll need to pull the feed tubes out. So there's a tube that goes in here and kind of pushes into the injector, and that's obviously what feeds it with fuel from this fuel rail, hence the name common rail. So quick little bit of information for those of you who are new to diesels. I don't know a ton, but I've learned over time. This is your injection pump. This is what creates the fuel pressure. So on an older style, like 12 valve engine, this is like, imagine a distributor. So each fuel line comes out of the injection pump, and the injection pump is what times the fuel delivery. So when the injection pump sends fuel to that cylinder, that's when that cylinder is going to fire. Whereas here, we have the injection pump filling a common rail, all of that fuel going to the injectors, and then the injectors themselves cycling on their own instead of having the pump be the cycle. So it's pretty much exactly like a distributor on an old carbed engine where you got one ignition coil and the distributor is sending power to each cylinder on its own time versus a coil pack ignition system where each cylinder has its own coil that fires when it's supposed to. So anyway, getting off track here. Let's get back to work. Okay, now we can get the feed tubes out. Oh, there's one. All right, now we can start trying to pull the injectors out. Now this is probably going to be a little tricky. I need to pry on them a little bit here. There we go. It's number 2. Oh, there's a lot of fuel that came out that time. Oh. One more. Whew. All right, injectors are out. Wasn't too bad. I was basically just kind of jiggling them with the pry bar and then pulling at the same time until they broke free. So there's all our feed tubes, feed tube lock nuts, injectors. I believe we are ready to pull the head off. Well, I gotta pull this exhaust manifold back off. So we'll do that. I've only got a couple bolts in it from taking it off last time to try to get everything through the valves. But I think this time I'm gonna pull the whole thing off and get it completely out of my way because I do need to, at a minimum, weld this crack up. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do turbo yet. I'd really like to do compounds, which would maintain the 3rd gen manifold where the outlet is here instead of here in the middle. So I might just weld this up for now and then wait till I do compounds to replace it. I'm not 100% sure, but we're gonna pull it off. Alrighty, we got manifold off, injectors out, rocker arms, push rods, feed tubes, fuel lines, rail. I mean, we got this thing pretty well stripped down. I think it's time to pull the head off. I don't know of anything else that needs to come off besides this one fuel line that goes to the back of the head here, and we should be ready to rip. Well, ready to start pulling head bolts and then ready to rip. So next, we gotta take the, I don't know what they call it, valve cover girdle, head holder of things. This off. We're taking this off. Oh yeah, we definitely need the hoist to lift this bad boy. This thing's gotta be 150, 200 pounds. Okay, maybe not that much, but it's a lot. It weighs a lot. Hey, good news, all the pistons look good. Let me get this thing out of the way. Wow, this thing looks super mint. Oh, this is exciting. Oh man, I was concerned, to be honest with you guys. I was concerned that we had a melted piston somewhere and that was our misfire. And this is gonna turn into a little bit bigger project and we're gonna have to get the motor rebuilt or get a rebuilt motor, which, you know, wouldn't have been the end of the world because at least then I'd have a new motor in the truck. But, you know, obviously I'd prefer not to do that. I'd prefer to get it done quicker. Kid's whipping donuts over there on the 4-wheeler. Ripping. Anyway, well, the good news is our short block is good. I need to get the head down and tilt it on its side to really get a good look at it. I kind of glanced under there, but obviously I didn't want to get under it. But everything looked fine from just glancing under it. Everything appears to be good. Let me get you guys a light. I'm amazed at how little gasket material got left on the head surface. You know, every time I pull heads off a gas engine, I just end up with so much cleanup necessary to scrape off gasket material. And these, I mean, they're both pretty clean finished surfaces as is, you know, just separating them. They weren't really that stuck together. I don't know if that's normal or what. I do notice the valves have different levels of deposit, but it seems to be pretty uniform. These lower valves are darker and have some of this schmoo on them. These two are pretty light. Yeah, I mean, everything's checking out, which is good. Really good. So I'm gonna kind of look through everything and decide what to do next. Already in thumbs up position, that was easy. All right, so I went ahead and tossed the head and valve cover back on so nothing falls in there and so we can move the engine around. We don't have the parts to continue to do the head gasket and head studs right now, but I did get some really good info from a guy who I've watched before on YouTube. His YouTube channel is called Optimal Welding, so I've seen some of his Cummins videos and I asked him just for his input on everything. And one, with the truck running rough, he said, I showed him my log when I had HP tuners up and the oil pressure was at 26,000. And it should be at about 5,000 at idle. So that means we likely have a bad FICM, this guy right here. I guess it defaults to full fuel. So that was a good thing to figure out. He was also telling me, so on these you can't do EFI Live like I had on my last truck. They're a little older, but you can use HP tuners, and he has like custom tune set up with like a 6-position switch. So he'll be able to help me out with that. And he said that basically stock turbo, stock size injectors should be good for my power goals, and that I should kind of just keep it like that for now and then worry about upgrading turbo and stuff later, which is kind of what I was hoping for. It's just one of those things. It's tough, you know, because eventually I'll probably want to do compounds, whatever, just because it'll be cool and fun and exciting. But definitely the best way to do it is to get it in and running as it is. Keep the complications to a minimal. If you're modding something and swapping it into another vehicle, you know, that's when you run into more complications, because you run into complications modding it and you run into complications swapping it. So we're going to try to keep those to a minimum. The only downfall is things like injectors. You know, if I buy new injectors, it's stock size, and I'm gonna have to buy new ones or rebuild them myself with larger nozzles or whatever if I need to go bigger in injector size and all that. So anyway, I was just trying to figure all that out before I went through and ordered everything that I need for this, but I think we're good. I think I know exactly what I want to do and have a game plan so I can start getting parts ordered. Same goes for the chassis. I think I figured out what I want to do suspension-wise, leveling kit-wise, steering-wise. I'm still on the fence. I would like to do the hydraulic assist setup. So it's a steering box and then a hydraulic ram that hooks on here. So it's supposed to dampen the load going to the steering box, make them last longer. Obviously you have more assists with the hydraulic ram there. So it's supposed to make the steering a lot lighter, which would be nice. But it is like more than twice the money of just buying an already expensive upgraded steering box. So I'm still on the fence on that. I got to make a decision soon so we can get that stuff ordered. Basically, I say all this to say we are kind of at a stopping point with the Fummins build at the moment. We need to order all our parts, get all our stuff in, and then we can dive back into it, doing the chassis stuff, refreshing the engine, and then actually installing it and getting it all put together. So regardless though, I mean, we are pretty far along. We got the test fit done. We got the cab off, trans is moved. Like I just measured for my drive shafts, need to get those ordered. So, I mean, we definitely have made good progress. Should be able to knock out the final assembly stage of things quickly. I also did decide to paint the motor. I ordered paint for that. But anyway, topic for another date. So what I need to do now, I still want to weld this manifold up, grind down this crack, throw a weld in there, fix that. Need to get the engine out of the way. Need to keep these parts organized, but move them out of the way. And need to drop the cab down, throw a couple bolts in it, pull the truck outside because I need to work on all of my cars. My Subaru, the LS Miata, and my RX-7 all need work done. The LS Miata, we've got a big event coming up. There's like a $20,000 pot. It's a slow second gear track, which will be perfect for my car. So I'm really excited about that, but I have a few things I need to do to pass tech and just to get the car in tip-top shape. RX-7 needs to be finished. Subaru needs some exhaust stuff because it's coming back from paint tomorrow. So anyway, lots going on, lots to do. Enough talking. Let's drop the cab down and get this thing out of here. All right, I've got 4 bolts in the cab. That should be more than enough to hold it on for its 40-foot journey. I just want to make sure it's, you know, obviously I don't want it falling off, but it's not going to be under any crazy heavy loads either. So We got it roughly in the right spot. It wasn't too bad. We had to shift the chassis a little bit to get it lined up, but it really wasn't as bad as I thought to get everything back where it needed to be. All right, we're officially back on the ground. It really didn't take that long. This is like one big thing I was stressing before this project was, you know, trying to make sure I didn't have to move this thing around too much. And it's really not bad. I mean, I shouldn't speak too soon. We still got to pull it out over there, but it shouldn't be too bad. Just got to tuck everything back in here. Get our steering shaft in. All right. My tow strap the last couple times we had to pull this around, and it was behind my driver's seat, not my passenger seat. All right, we got the truck moved and parked out of the way. It is really weird to see this shop without a giant truck in it. Right? I just got used to how cramped it was with the truck in here. Now it's like, whoa, we could do so much. All right, now I just need to move the Cummins back out of the way. All right, I got the Cummins moved over there by the old Ford engine. I need to get rid of that and the trans and stuff. I do have a line on a buyer for that. Anyway, moved all my parts out of the way so we can work on the workbench. I was gonna go ahead and weld this manifold up, but I mean, there's a good possibility that I will continue to run this manifold for the life of the truck, so I might as well just replace it. If I change my mind, then I can weld it up. But for now, the game plan is replace it. So, I mean, essentially, we are definitely at a stopping point. There's not really much more we can do, but spend some money, order some parts. So that is what I'm gonna do now. Obviously, while working on all my other projects that need work to get done on. So we should be back to this in like a week or so, I would hope. It might be a little longer depending on how long parts take, but hopefully about a week or so. So that'll give me enough time to knock out the other little projects I have for the most part and get the parts here and then dive back into the truck. So as much as it pains me to take a break, because I really just want to get this done, we're taking a break. So anyway, I guess that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about the build so far, and I will see you for the next episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.